Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm sharing how to use sublimation to make a t-shirt. With sublimation, the ink infuses directly into the fabric using heat. I love how you can combine all these colors in the transfer. If you find this video helpful, I would love it if you gave it a thumbs up and if you subscribed if you are new to my channel, and let's get into the video. This 4th of July image is the image that I'm going to be using for my t-shirt. I purchased this off of Design Bundles. I just searched in their search box and typed in 4th of July sublimation, and a ton of options popped up, and I decided to pick this one. Also, with sublimation, you'll be looking for a PNG image. With Cricut projects, you're used to looking for SVG images, because that works really well with Cricut Design Space. But for sublimation, you'll be looking for a PNG image. I'll leave a link in the description box for this image. And now I'm going to select download files. Then I'll come down here and select the PNG. You can see it brings it down to the bottom corner here. And it also will bring it into the downloads folder. So I'll select Finder. And here you can see it in my downloads folder. Now I'm going to open up the Silhouette Studio. Here is Silhouette Studio. This is what I'm going to be using to print my design. I'm just using the free version. Silhouette Studio also has a business version, but you don't need it to print out sublimation images. So what I'm going to do is go up to File, Open, and grab my image. I'll just double click and it'll insert it into Silhouette Studio. And you can see it brought it in really big. So what I'm gonna do is I'm selecting this, the zoom out button, and I'm just gonna select this and I'm gonna make it a lot smaller. Now I'm just gonna come up here to this little, it looks kind of like a plus sign. It says fit to window. I'll select that. And here's my design inside this piece of paper. The next thing to do is to look at this page setup menu. If this isn't popping up on your screen, you'll just come over here and select this piece of paper. And I've already printed this to test this out, so it does have it set up from last time, but where it shows machine, I selected none. Cutting mat, I selected none, and media size, I selected 8.5 by 11. That's what I'm going to be printing on. The printer that I purchased can only print a max of 8.5 by 14, so that is why I'm doing an 8.5 by 11 paper size. But if you are using a different size paper, you will want to switch it here. You can either select it or type it in right here. For orientation, I'm using Portrait, and I also like to have my show print border on. If I deselect that, you can't see that line anymore. But if I select it, this shows where it's going to print. So you don't want it to overlap this line. So I do like to have that checked. Also, I'm just gonna make this as large as I can for my shirt. The shirt I'm using is a Cricut shirt that's normally used for infusible ink. It's a women's and I bought a large. So usually for a large, I want to do 8 to 9 inches for the width for my design, but I'm just gonna make it as wide as I can, and it looks like it's about 7.7 inches for the width, but I think that will be fine. The large for the Cricut women's shirts runs a little bit small, so I think that will be fine. Now that I have all of that set up and this is inside my borders, I am going to go up to File and I'm going to select Print. Then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to select Print again, and it'll come up with the printer settings. The printer settings are really important with sublimation. You want to make sure that you have it all set up correctly to get the best quality print. So what I'm going to do is select where it says layout here. I am going to go down to print settings. Then I am going to go to my media type. I'm going to come down here and choose Premium Presentation Paper Matte. I have seen everyone recommend using this setting for sublimation, and I have tested it out and it seemed to work really well. Also, where it says print quality, I'm going to select that and I am going to choose high quality. Then I'm going to come down here and select mirror image. This is something that you don't want to forget. It's just like with HTV or iron-on. If you don't do this, then you've wasted your material because it has to be mirrored for it to work. So you'll definitely want to remember that. Also, I forgot to mention I'm on a Mac computer, as you can probably tell. So if you have a Windows and you're trying to do this, it looks different on the screen, but you'll want to select the similar settings on your computer. Also, what I'm going to do is go to my color matching, and I am going to go over to Color Sync. I am using Cosmo ink, and with Cosmo ink, they have a color profile that they give you after you purchase your ink. And this color profile just does a really good job of matching what your computer screen colors look like with what prints out. And even on their website, they said you don't have to use it. It should still work really well without using their color profile. But I thought, why not? I might as well download that and use it. In my last video where I showed how I set up my Epson Echo Tank for sublimation, I did show how I added the color profile. So if you have questions about that, you can go back and watch that video. It's towards the end of the video. So I'm on color matching, color sync. Then I go click here. It doesn't show up with these, but I will select other profiles. And right here is the Cosmo ink one. So I'm going to select that and hit OK, and it'll show up right there. I'm going to go back to my printer settings just to make sure I have what I want. Also, another really good tip that someone had told me is when you go up to your presets, you can go to last use setting. So after you've set all of these up and print for the first time, then you can go and select last use setting, and you don't have to go back and set it every time. So you don't have to remember to mirror it and all that. Just use your last use setting as long as it was all set up correctly the last time. But I kept it at default this time so I could show you which ones I wanted to change. Now that I have my settings selected, I am ready to click print. You'll want to use Sublimation Paper. I bought this A-Sub paper from Amazon, and I can link this down below. I keep the paper in the original box that it came with. This paper has markings on the back so you know which side is the front and back. You'll want to make sure you know which way your printer prints, then load it into the paper tray. Then it'll start printing. I turned the high-speed print mode off, so it took a little longer for it to print. You can see how I did that in this video that I put right up here on the screen. Here's how it looks after it prints. It's not going to be as vibrant until it's heated onto the surface, even though I was surprised by how vibrant it actually looked on the paper. I set my Easy Press 2 to 400 degrees at 60 seconds. You can use a Cricut Easy Press 2 or a heat press for sublimation. An iron will not work for this. Next, I take scissors and cut around the image. You can do this or you can rip off each edge. You want to do this because the lines from the paper might show up like a box around your design after you press it. I place my shirt down on my Easy Press mat. I'm using a Cricut shirt that they use for infusible ink because it's 95% polyester. You can use any high count polyester shirt. I'd say 65% polyester or higher, but the higher polyester count, the more vibrant the colors will be. You'll also want a lighter color shirt for sublimation. Next, I place butcher paper inside the shirt to prevent any ink from going through the front of the shirt. Then I grab my lint roller and press that over the shirt. This gets rid of any dust particles. If that stays on the shirt after you press it, there could be little blue spots on it on the shirt, so you definitely want to lint roll first. Next, I place butcher paper on top and preheat the shirt. I do this for around 15 seconds. This is also an extremely important step for sublimation. It removes moisture from the shirt. Now I'm ready to add my design. I waited for the shirt to cool down a little first, then placed the design ink side down onto the shirt. This is a V-neck, so I only place it about an inch below the V-neck. After lining that up, I place heat-resistant tape on all 4 sides to hold it in place. I just bought this tape dispenser and it makes my life so much easier. After that, I grab butcher paper. I actually place 2 on top of the shirt because the ink will go through 2 pages pretty easily, and I'm trying to avoid getting the ink on my Easy Press. You want to make sure your heat press covers the entire design. That's why I love the large Easy Press. Then press the C to have it start counting down. I also don't slide the heat press around at all. I also want to mention you don't want to use parchment paper or Teflon sheets for this. You want butcher paper, or I've even heard copy paper works as well, even though I haven't tried that. Once that's done, remove the butcher paper. You can see it went through the second one just a little. Then you can remove the sublimation paper right away. I actually don't recommend letting it cool down first. Look how pretty this is, and the colors look so awesome. I removed the butcher paper from the shirt and it didn't have any ink on it, so I will reuse that butcher paper. I also want to show you a comparison to a shirt that I tested first. This is the shirt on the left. The colors aren't as vibrant and seem a little off, so I wanted to share what I did differently. For the one on the left, I didn't use the Cosmo Ink color profile. I actually didn't choose anything for the color settings. I later read if you go to the color options and advanced settings, you should choose Adobe RGB. I'm not sure if that would look just as good as the Cosmo Ink color profile or not. I also used the slower setting for the image on the right and used the fast setting on the left. If you are using Cosmo Ink, I'd definitely recommend using their color profile because it seems like it could make a difference on how accurate the colors are. Once again, here's how the shirt turned out. I hope you found this video helpful. Let me know if you have any questions in the description box below. I would also love it, once again, if you subscribed if you are new to my channel.